I love this cover. It's hilarious. Stacey is now my superhero.
Argo Font Book Review. Argo Font Book Review.
This book was written by Suzanne Wein. As usual, we start with Stacey talking about New York. Sometimes it feels like that's all she ever talks about. Her boyfriend Robert doesn't love New York, and I'm legitimately surprised she doesn't dump him immediately. How could he not love New York? Stacey decides she'll turn him into a fan of New York with a personalized tour and Broadway tickets. Mom points out Stacey can't afford that. Broadway tickets cost about $50. And Stacey's babysitting jobs only pay wait a second. How much money do the girls get paid for babysitting? They charged under $2 an hour in the first book, but that was 10 years ago. I hope they get paid more now. In the recap chapter, Christy gives Abby grief for being 3 minutes late to a club meeting. Abby doesn't care, and she repeatedly sasses back to Christy. Stacey admires Abby for having a New York attitude, which is a nice way of saying Abby is being a huge jerk to her best friend for no reason. Gee, I can't imagine why Robert doesn't love the city. The people there sound delightful. A new client named Mrs. Cheplin calls. She wants someone to watch her children every day from 3:15 to 5:30. Stacey is the narrator, so she gets the job. Mrs. Cheplin is somewhat reluctant at first because she wanted a mature high schooler, someone who can watch the kids and do chores. Her daughter Dana has diabetes. When she learns Stacey also has diabetes, Mrs. Cheplin agrees to try Stacey as a babysitter for a week. Mrs. Cheplin pays double Stacey's normal rate. Stacey is shocked at how much money that is, but like I said, we have no idea how much she normally gets paid, so this is meaningless. Christy complains about the job, saying that taking a full-time job is like losing a club member. Gee, that never bothered her any of the other times a club member took a full-time job. Continuity! Logan wants to get Marianne a ring for Valentine's Day. Stacey suggests getting Christy's help in finding one, and Mom is a little concerned about the gift.
Does that mean they're going steady? When a boy gives a girl a ring, it usually means something.
Uh-oh, sounds like Mrs. McGill is going to give Marianne the talk. In the subplot, Becca and Charlotte see Christy and Logan buying the ring together. They assume Logan is cheating on Marianne. Both Logan and Christy get hate mail and prank phone calls, and the kids even form an angry mob on Logan's doorstep. When the truth comes out, the kids apologize to Logan and Marianne by cooking a Valentine's Day dinner for them. Stacey has a great time watching the Cheplin kids, and she feels like a super sitter. The chores aren't bad. It's laundry, dishes, and cleaning up Adam's room. Cleaning Adam's room is on the chore list every day. Here's a thought. Why doesn't Adam clean his own room? He's 6, he can handle it. Also, why is he totally destroying his room every morning? Jeez. Dana gets into a fight with her friend, then groans and complains she's not feeling well. Stacey checks Dana's blood sugar, but it's fine, and Dana doesn't seem sick anymore. Was she faking? Mrs. Cheplin adds more chores to the list, like put stamps on envelopes, because that's super difficult, she can't do it herself, and prepare dinner. Okay, that's legitimately difficult. Stacey's proud she's always able to finish chores in an hour. The kids play outside. Again, Dana gets mad at her friends, so she pretends to be sick to get out of the situation. Stacey has a heart-to-heart talk with Dana about diabetes, which resolves the problem. She really is a super sitter. Mrs. Cheplin agrees to keep Stacey for 2 more weeks with additional pay for additional chores. Stacey does the math. At the end of 3 weeks, she can afford $100 for tickets with a little left over. Since she works 33.75 hours, that means she's getting paid about $3 an hour. That is her giant paycheck? $3 an hour? For reference, Connecticut's minimum wage was $4.27 an hour at the time this book was published. Stacey is getting ripped off. Stacey has nightmares about doing chores. Hey, me too. She fantasizes about all the cool stuff she'll buy with her huge $3 paycheck. Maybe she can get a sports car. Dana has a piano lesson one day, which leaves Stacey with little time for chores. Plus, she can't concentrate fully when both kids want her attention. As a result, she's not able to do the last two chores on the list, which are peel carrots and start the rice. Mrs. Cheplin complains loudly and gives Stacey the stink eye. Huh. I wonder why Stacey doesn't admire Mrs. Cheplin's big city attitude. Stacey's let off the hook because a plumber turned off the water 10 minutes ago. She couldn't have cooked the rice. I wonder what magic rice the Cheplins have which fully cooks in under 10 minutes. Stacey is about to complain when Mrs. Cheplin gives her a bunch of money and Stacey forgets all of her problems. Mom is sad that she never gets to see Stacey anymore. I don't quite understand why that's the case. Mom works full time. It's not like she gets to see Stacey every day from 3 to 5 normally. Anyway, Mom gets excited to watch a sad movie and cry for 2 hours. She says she really wants to cry today. Mom is disappointed when Stacey can't cry with her. I'm a little worried about Mom. Dana has a diabetic emergency. Her normal doctor is out, so Stacey rushes her to Dr. Johansson. When Mrs. Cheplin comes home, her first instinct is to smother Dana. Haha, just kidding. The first thing she does is throw a fit because Stacey didn't finish 3 of the chores on the 2-page list. She chews Stacey out until she learns about the medical emergency. Mrs. Cheplin apologizes, but Stacey is too mad to listen. Stacey eventually realizes that constantly doing chores is ruining her entire life. It's not worth the money. She'd rather spend time with Mom, Robert, and her friends. She explains this to Mrs. Cheplin, who brushes her off as too immature to handle a real job. Harsh, but not unexpected. The end. Postbook follow-up. I like this book, but the premise is a little off. Stacey's doing chores for an hour a day. That should not wear her out so much she has no energy for anything else. She sleeps for 12 hours multiple times. That's how exhausted she is. Also, a 2-hour job on weekdays should not be a life-ending time suck. Stacey babysits most afternoons, right? This shouldn't be that different. I like the subplot with Christy and Logan, but it was poorly executed. There are 2 chapters of suspense over who's sending mean messages, when it was obvious the kids were doing it. There was a full chapter dedicated to the kids seeing Logan and Christy. If readers were in on the joke the whole time, it would have been funnier. Logan plays a racing game on his computer. That's where a virtual car goes on a virtual track in the virtual world, and I get the idea. You don't have to put the word virtual in quotation marks virtually every time. Overall, it was a pretty good book. I like the narration and the way Stacey explores the problem from multiple angles. My only major recommendation for improving the book is actually telling readers how much Stacey makes, but I can understand why they didn't do that. Improve the subplot a bit, and it'd be an A-plus book. I give Babysitter's Club number 94, Stacey McGill Super Sitter, a 9 out of 10.